Warning: contains major spoilers for Turncoat, Changes, and Cold Days. Microfiction number 2, Journal, by Jim Butcher. Read for you by David Carmen. You lose track of time as the years go by. The things that seem significant, that rise above the rest, become your measure of its passage. The longer you live, the more significant the event has to be to catch your notice. It makes for infrequent milestones. I haven't kept this journal since my 70s. I only started it because I thought it would make a good impression on Anastasia, who I presume will be reading this entry. I will spare you the schoolboy platitudes, my teacher, my old friend. Though you have never said it, I have always known that you have always known my heart. Now I return to these papers and read the last few pages, and realize the lessons that keeping this journal would have taught me might have prevented this from being my last entry. My final confession, really. There's little time and far too much to say. I'm losing blood, and my thoughts wander when I must be concise. Despite my promise to Margaret, I failed to protect her son. I tracked him and his father until the time of Malcolm's death. To this day, I'm not sure who killed him. I suppose it's possible that Malcolm's death was natural. But given this child's ongoing misfortune, it seems clear to me that he's been marked with an adversary from the moment of his birth. Malcolm died while I was on mission elsewhere. I arrived less than 10 hours after the child went in the foster care system, and someone made him vanish. Magically, physically, bureaucratically. There was no trace of him, and I searched for years. That bastard, Justin Demore, got to him before I could. From then on, we could not be sure that the child was not molded to be a creature of Nemesis. The child apparently murdered Justin in something very like a duel, and I am unsure if I'm more frightened by the prospect that it was a deception to simulate Justin's death, or if it wasn't. Given what is at stake, it would have been better to remove the child from play, but the Blackstaff couldn't let his daughter's son be neutralized. So I tracked him. I hounded him. I pushed him constantly in an attempt to draw out any controls that may have been in place, or any corruption of black magic that he might have been concealing. Even now, I cannot be sure that he is not the monster we all fear in the process of being born. But the enemy has invaded the senior council itself, and regardless of his true allegiance, Dresden is not ensnared in the web of conflicts between them, and has both the inclination and the strength to defy them, at least for a time, until I am certain where to lay the blame for Lafortier's death. I will seek his assistance. Given who he is, he will have little choice but to give it. If nothing else, the pressure might show me his true colors. Perhaps I have been too hard on him. Perhaps I really have become paranoid and mad. Perhaps I have wronged a good man. But there is too much at stake to take that chance. The thought of allowing a destroyer to be birthed among us, when I could have stopped it, is too heavy to bear. To those who come after me and read this, well, history will be my judge. I bore the fear of multitudes in silence, and fought the darkness as best I knew how. I can say that without hesitation. But I wish I'd done better by that child. I have the honor to be respectfully yours, Donald Morgan, Warden.